Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and today we got a bunch of the first Descendant news to talk about, and I'm very excited about this game. I know people have been up and down after the betas that we've seen so far, but for me personally, the game is fun, and more importantly, the developers seem to be listening to the community as often as possible. Every complaint that people have seems to be responded to, and if not fixed immediately, definitely on their long-term plans. They do communicate really well. While yes, we haven't heard from them in a little bit, I do believe that's because they've had their head down, working on everything, getting ready for a summer launch, and that's where I'm going to start off. So during the live stream, we did get a bunch of interesting news. First off, the game is still set to launch this summer, which is fast approaching. I would assume we would hear about the actual launch date sooner rather than later, because if it is launching in the summer, that would mean by the end of August at the latest. And the other news that we learned is that we will be getting another beta to test out as well. So I'd imagine they would have to launch the beta sometime in May or June, and then follow with the full release sometime in July or August. So we definitely will be hearing more news about that. We could get a surprise launch because it is free to play during the Summer Games Fest or something like that. I wouldn't put it past them to do that, to be honest, and maybe try to generate hype that way, but I'm not sure exactly if that's the direction they're going to take. They don't have to launch early with a lot of fanfare just because they do not require pre-orders. It is going to be completely free to play, and really, they could follow suit after something like Apex Legends, which dropped randomly but was very, very successful as a bunch of people flocked to the game. We'll see. They've had a bunch of open betas, unlike the Apex Legends, so how they handle that will be very curious. But they had to get the launch time right, because June is already stacked with players who might be interested in the first Descendant already having competition with Destiny 2 The Final Shape launching, as well as the Elden Ring DLC, which is going to attract gamers from every walk of life, essentially. Anyone who's interested in gaming is likely to pay attention to the Elden Ring DLC. So I think that's a massive one to avoid for any game out there. So other news that we learned is that we will be getting loadouts, which I think is fascinating. I think loadouts are absolutely necessary in looter shooters going forward, and I'm glad that they will be in the game, especially because you're going to be juggling multiple characters, so you're going to want to have certain builds on them, certain upgrades that you're going to want to keep on different characters. So if you use the same guns on multiple characters, having those loadouts will be vital. We also learned there will be another playable character, a new one in the next beta as well, which I think is awesome. Every time we get a chance to play the game and there is advancements and we get more characters to play, I think that is a good thing, because every looter shooter needs something to grind for, and the first Descendant is following after Warframe in that you're, instead of grinding frames and upgrading them over time, you're actually grinding characters instead. And I think that is where they're going to have to find the balance between making the game rewarding but also having a long-term chase as well. Now, they also fixed some of the UI and UX problems that people were talking about. A bunch of upgrades here that I think look very good. I will actually leave a link in the description down below to the Dev Note Volume 9, so you can check that out if you're curious. You want to see some of the screenshots that they have, because I think it does look a lot cleaner overall, and some of the changes definitely look good. They have some core menu improvements, which also is a good thing, and improvements to equip info, so you can actually see a lot of the upgrades that you're getting with different gear and see how it changes your stats overall. I think that's going to be a good thing as well. So all of that is positives, and again, this is the type of game that, yes, it needs some moderate improvements and also some major changes. So some of the things that we already know are coming are increased enemy density in the open world, just pockets of enemies for you to clear, which I think will be good, especially as you get to higher level with additional abilities, and you hopefully will be gaining experience at a quicker rate as well, because I know upgrading that in the previous beta was very, very slow. So hopefully that does change. And yeah, so overall, I'm very much looking forward to it. Hopefully it feels more alive as well. I feel like the open world felt kind of empty at times, not only from enemies, but also with other players as well. So that is something that I am looking forward to for sure. Now, other things that we learned, there are going to be full crossplay, cross save, which I think is fantastic. And they also are going to be looking at increasing the amount of rewards that we get, especially if you are responding to support requests, which I think is good. Their open field, open worlds will have more sounds. It will just feel more alive in general. I think that's absolutely necessary. And then it says, are void fragments unattainable in solo play unless a weapon with the matching attribute is equipped? And then the First Descendant is a game that is played using multiple characters. Although players will have their favorites, in order to increase their master ranks and utilize characters that are better suited for each content, players are required to collect and raise various characters. Therefore, we have assigned character research materials as mission rewards so that players will own characters with each attribute. So essentially, you will be able to upgrade things without having to play as certain characters. You will still get upgrades for other characters as well, potentially. Normal and hard mode are all we'll have at launch, although they did mention they are adding dungeons, which I think is awesome, and hopefully they are a lot of fun. If they are remotely comparable to dungeons in Destiny 2, I think that'll be fantastic. So I think that's very, very good. If you open content in hard difficulty, you cannot invite people who have not cleared normal, so make sure that your friends have cleared normal difficulty before jumping in. And then eventually, not at launch, but down the line, there will be a clan system as well. Those are the major things that we learned. Overall, I'm very excited about this game. I think it's one that I will definitely be putting a lot of time into, just because it really fills a lot of the voids that I'm personally looking forward to. Fun characters, really interesting gameplay, a lot of different build variety with your various characters and weapons and upgrades. So I think there's a lot of potential there to really make everyone's build feel like their own. As long as the combat is good, the giant bosses I think are a lot of fun as well. As long as the combat overall and the enemy density is increased and we get a variety of endgame types of content, I think we'll be in good shape. Hopefully that is the case. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below. Are you looking forward to the First Descendant? Is this a game that you're excited about? If you want to see more of the First Descendant content from me going forward, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously, shows you want to see content of this nature. My name is Jopa. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one, and I will catch you all later.